Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. Today we're going to look at Seaside Bellona. So she's in our hero's journal, and apparently, and I'm at 90% sure, apparently she's going to be a limited hero. Limited banner, her and her artifact. We're going to take a look at her artifact after this, and I just wanted to make this video quickly as an early theory craft, and also just to see if, if she's actually worth pulling for. From what I've gathered so far in terms of like stats and then the kit, I would say, like, right now, I'll give you my conclusion right now, is that because she's limited, she's definitely worth pulling for, and her kit is very diverse. I have to say she brings some new mechanics that I never really thought of before, because we're so used to, like, defense breakers, attack buffers, CR pushers or whatnot. We're used to those roles, but she has a different aspect to her kit that I actually really like, and I'm going to explain that after this. So actually I'm going to show the kit first, and I'll show the stats, and I'll kind of go through what I think that, some of the possible builds that she could be built for. I think that she could be very good for PVE as well for PvP, and for PvP on the defense and offensive side, albeit I think that she might have to be built a bit differently depending on what kind of role you're doing. And what I mean built differently is like quite extremely different, not like swap out one piece, like totally different sets. But it's only like a brief theory craft right now, so I will go for her. I plan to get her, so when I get her, after I build her, I'll try to do a better review on it. But anyways, this is my initial assessment. So the S1, up to a 75% chance to target. All right, so focus or target whatever enemy for 2 turns. So most of you guys know that some heroes have it, like Leo has this. Any ranger with Song of Stars will be able to do targeting. Targeting increases, I think, up to a 15% more damage, which is really big, especially if you're doing like a lot of damage. 15% of that damage is pretty good. And it decreases the evasion chance. I'm not quite sure of the percentage of the decreased evasion chance. I think it's also a 15%. But a 75% chance to do this debuff for 2 turns. Okay, 2 turns. Very, very good. Her S2 is a passive skill. It consumes 5 focus, so it's kind of like Earth Bellona, where she had focus gauge as well, but a different aspect to get them. So the S1 is the S1 and S3 can acquire the focus, but then also if an ally is attacked, she also gains 1 focus. So if you do the reading here, it shows 30% of the damage suffered by the caster with the foremost ally. So yesterday I was talking with the guys on stream, and I was asking, what does foremost ally mean? I thought it meant like from the first person, the next ally to go in the CR, like in the combat readiness queue. But apparently it's in the tanking spot. So whoever you put in the tanking spot will share 30% of the damage suffered by Seaside Bellona, which adds to like different types of like mechanic. It's a new mechanic. It's like I was thinking about this, like, to use this, you could use like someone that would benefit from more damage with less HP. So like BBK, Kron. You could even put the specialty change Butcher Corp in front, since he can't exceed a certain amount of HP per 1 hit. Now I'm not sure if that works with the sharing damage aspect, but it could be quite interesting. Also, he does more damage the more HP he has lost, and he recovers damage based on his attack. So just because we recently got his specialty change, so I was just theory crafting what kind of team comps you can put on there. It might be interesting. So I was saying that even with this aspect in her passive, it might be interesting for like a GVG fight, where maybe you put her on immunity. She can be bait for like Baiken, like taking 30% of the damage is really good. If you think about it, Aureus is a 20% like damage reduction, but this is 30%. So for those of you who have experience with like fighting defense teams, or even your own team, you have your Aureus with the 20%, how much difference that makes. The 20% reduction in damage is a big difference. So 30%, you can use her as a bait for Baiken if you have immunity, especially, so that you don't get the bleed. All these like different things like come to my mind when using her. It could be very interesting, but again, I would have to put her into practice. And this is where her stats, when we talk about her stats, will come into play, because you want to kind of benefit from this kit, but you also need the stats to do it. When one or more damage is suffered, one or more damage sharing effect is granted, only the strongest effect is applied. So from this, it looks like it wouldn't stack with Aureus. So for example, if you use her as a bait, and let's say you had again, Butcher Corpse, for example, he's a knight, he has Aureus on, I don't think it works. So she's not going to reduce like, a multiplicative of like a 30% to 20%. Definitely wouldn't be additive, but it's not, it doesn't stack. It would seem that way. Now, whether that stacks, I'm pretty sure that would stack with C Armin's passive, the crit reduction passive. But then even at this point of this recording, we might get a nerf on C Armin, so we don't know what that's going to look like. But anyways, it should, because it's a different type of, it's not damage sharing. That's just damage reduction. C Armin's passive. So caster gains 1 focus when an ally is attacked. Okay, and then when the ally is attacked, the caster is stacked 5 focus, loses all focus, and activates You're Not Cute. So this second aspect of her passive wouldn't really work for that bait tactic I was just talking about, because she would only release her focus if it's at max 5, only release her You're Not Cute skill if the ally is attacked. So keep that in mind. So very something interesting here. And then You're Not Cute is attacks all enemies with a fan and a 50% chance to decrease the defense for 2 turns. So kind of like Earth Bellona, but a lot less effective in terms of the defense break on the S2. All right, on the S2, but it's a nice to have additional. Or rather, yeah, the only defense break, but it's not. It's pretty nice to have. So we have also the S3, up to a 4-turn cooldown, and up to 100%, yeah, 100% chance to make them unbuffable and unhealable for 2 turns. Very good. 20 souls will grant you ignore effect resistance. So I love that aspect of the ignore effect resistance part, because on certain turns, if you can live long enough, you can get that like for sure. And the thing is, a lot of healers do need obviously need the unhealable, but like let's say someone like Ruel, she completely ignores all of this though. So that wouldn't work on like Ruel's heals, for example. Unbuffable and unhealable aspect, she just dispels it. And the damage dealt, I'm gonna pull up really quick her mods here. S1, we're looking at a 1x mod, so this is a single target. S2, we're looking at a 0.7, but this isn't, you're not gonna really be getting this a lot unless your teammates get attacked a lot. So another aspect to using her would be like, she'd be pretty decent for like a bait team, but herself not being the bait, right? So if you can control the battle, let's say you have F Maya on the team and they're running only single target like dark heroes, you'll be able to get this quite often. And the thing is, like, if you can, if they don't have immunity, you can make them unbuffable and unhealable. That can really set up for the defense break. That's really nice. So the S2, yeah, 0.7 when it does proc, and then the S3 is only a 1x mod. It says damage dealt increases with a critical hit. Basically, according to the data mine, it's a 20% increased critical hit strike damage. So pretty decent. But her stats here don't really merit herself as like a pure damage dealer. Although her artifact may be beneficial to her, but I'll talk to you about her artifact in a bit. So I did some like really quick calculation for her speed at 114. Easily get her to 182 speed if you have a speed set with a speed boot. And obviously if you get some substats here and there on other pieces, easily over 200. So would you want to build her speedy? I'm not quite sure. Right now I'm thinking of because she has a similar health to Dizzy, and similar speed to Dizzy, only 1 speed lower than Dizzy. Now, although Dizzy is a bit different because she's a mage, so access to mage artifacts with counter set on Dizzy, I've seen like decent Dizzy with like 160 speed, so that's still pretty decently like speedy, with like 15,000 HP on a counter set, and that's really annoying. Now, for herself, it won't work the same because Dizzy's counter is AoE, and then she can use things like Zero Ren, Abyss Crown, Isla Violin, all that stuff to really, like, you know, hinder your team or their team if you're using the counter Dizzy. So she doesn't really have the same kind of thing, but I was thinking about the counter set. The only reason is because you could acquire focus faster that way for the S2. And then, of course, if you counter and you target them as well, it increases the damage dealt for your other DPS heroes, but that's as far as I've gotten in terms of counter set. So I mean, you could build her with speed set. I think counter set, she has an innate 18% effectiveness as well. So I don't think in this case you don't need to really run like an effectiveness ring. Although if you do have the substats to merit a hit set, you could go for that as well. Her attack isn't too low, so you could build her as a cleaver, as a damage dealer as well. But I'm not 100% sure how I would build like my Seaside Bellona at this point. And again, like I said, if this is a limited hero, most likely a pity summon. So most likely I'm gonna be getting her. Yeah, I think she can do, in terms of damage, she can output just as good as like Earth Bellona. So, you know, and I've seen Earth Bellona do a lot of damage. Although again the skill set is I think she's mainly like a debuffer to set up other heroes to be doing the attack. And I just really like the ignore effect resistance. So I don't think you need to have her as high effectiveness as, let's say, like Earth Bellona. But of course that needs to be up there. Maybe 50, 60 ish. If it's for PVE, 55 is all you'll need. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on this. And then let's go to the artifact as well. Actually, wait, let's preview her skills first. So we might as well do it.
Run before it's too late.
If you're playing the event right now, apparently you do face her. I haven't gotten that far yet. And you get to see her S2 animation, whatever that is. I can't proc that animation here. I think because I can't, because you have to have the allies attacked. So yeah, her S1 looks like, you know, looks like Earth Bellona. 60% innate right now. I mean, that's 3 for 3. That's pretty darn good. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's 2 turn as well, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, we got the target. Yeah, pretty much all 3. And then the S3.
This is what you get for ruining my vacation.
I'm not quite sure on the background story for that big whale with the eye. That's quite interesting.
Now I'm getting bored.
Like, what is that? What is that whale with the eye? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, regardless, you can see the potential of her debuffs. It's really good. I think she has an insanely good kit. And like I said, usable for defense, usable for offense, usable for PVE, PVP. So overall, as a hero, I would say definitely pull for her. Yeah, let's heal this, and then let's quickly go into the artifacts and quickly take a look at her. So apparently, if she's gonna be limited, it might be a limited time artifact. Her artifact, though, I have to say this. I think you have to get this. I think you have to go for this. It has a ton of potential going forward as well as for the heroes already now. For the artifact in the sense of Seaside Bellona, I think that this couldn't work for her because she has technically 2 AoE skills, although the S2 is conditional. But for regular, like Earth Bellona, I think this is going to be an insane artifact to have on her. People already built Bellona as a speedy cleaver, with on top of that, she already has a possible 100% defense break. this will be really good. So apparently the reading of this, it seems to be kind of like Uberius Tooth, but without the crit situation. The only way to proc this is to get this on an AoE attack. It's a Ranger exclusive. So people were saying this yesterday on stream when we were talking about this. Yuna might be really good because everything she does is AoE. And Yuna can output a lot of damage. So Yuna is a free 5-star hero. You get her in the connection. In case you're new and you don't know about Yuna, she's free. If you get this artifact on her, I think she's going to be really strong. Up to 100%, like I said, 100% chance to inflict additional damage scaled from the caster's attack. So if it's anything like Uberius Tooth, if the mods are the same like Uberius Tooth needs a crit and has additional damage based on skilled on the attack. My Sirmia, as a point of reference, has a 3,800 attack. If she does a greater attack buff, I believe the artifact does proc based on the total attack, not on the base attack. So post buff it would count. My Sirmia does about 1,500 1,800 damage, around that, additional. Okay, but now imagine this on an AoE attack. An AoE attack getting, let's say, an upwards of, let's say 1,000. Let's say 1,000. Let's be conservative. 1,200. 1,000 to 1,500 maybe. Again, it just depends on the data mine on this. It's 30% of the attack, of the caster's attack, depending on the data mine. Says Zakazet. Is it? It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty good for sure. Cleaving Earth Bellonas would be insane for this. Like Earth Bellona, I think would be more beneficial than Seaside Bellona for Rengar's special drink artifact. Just because regular Bellona already has like multiple ways of dealing AoE, and of course, like I said, Yuna. But of course, Yuna brings a different aspect to it, not the defense break, but Earth Bellona herself, she can benefit from her own defense break, and then, like be cleave with this artifact. It's gonna be insane. I was thinking about other rangers, and I looked at the heroes journal just to see like what other rangers would really benefit from this. I don't think a lot of them would. Like I was thinking before, like would Lidica work? But I don't think so, because she really has to wait a long time to get an AoE again. Where is she? No, that's class. I want star. I actually want class. I want ranger. Yeah, ranger's all here. So yeah, I mean, other than Yuna and maybe Bellona, I don't think a lot of rangers here output like a ton of AoE. I would say for sure Bellona, Yuna. Leo wouldn't be built as a damage dealer. Nor would Scurry really. But yeah, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, it's AoE only. It's AoE only. Yeah. Anyways, that's my quick thought on this. So I wanted to put out this video ASAP, since people are going to be talking about this. So if you guys have thoughts on like builds and how you can use her, other than the stuff that I already talked about, leave them in the comments below, because if it's really good, really smart, that I'd never even thought of, never considered, I will pin your comment, because I do think that new players or even old players, whether or not they want to pull for this banner, do kind of need to know where they're going to be using them and how good they can be. So hopefully this has been helpful. So I'm going to end this video here. If you guys have a Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.